Kansas to the SEC is conjecture, but Gonzaga definitely has Big 12 invitation right now, circa 2023, isn't? Guy, that's been confirmed now.
Yeah, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Hello? So you think that Kansas to the SEC is the same thing as Gonzaga to the Big 12? When everybody said we were idiots and you don't know what you're talking about and Gonzaga doesn't have an invite. And now national media is writing those stories that Gonzaga has an invite. And Gonzaga is going to the Big 12. But that's the same. Where's the national media member saying that Kansas is going to the SEC and that Kansas has been invited to the SEC and that move is imminent? Nobody, because it isn't. And they haven't been. There's a big difference between fact and opinion. And how many, and I think this is why I think podcast is a dirty, awful, terrible word. You look at these people who do, well, here's a breaking news story in my 30-minute podcast. And they present their opinion as fact. Oh, the Pac-12 is getting that $600 million pro rata, bro. How did that work out? How'd that work out? Utah's never leaving the Pac-12. How'd that work out? All these little bros with their little podcasts. You actually have to do the legwork and talk to people involved in the situation. How do you think we found out Washington State? How do you think we found out about the spending freeze? When we told you on this show, hey, the staff at Washington State is livid. They're quite literally banging on the door at Kirk Schultz's office. They want accountability for the athletic budget.
Yeah.
12 hours later, what happened? Kirk Schultz released a statement. There's a complete and total spending freeze and an audit of our budgets. Yeah, but that's opinion.
So let's review. You come in with this nonsense right here.
What are we doing?
And with your bad attitude, and then you're surprised when you get called out for it. Come on.
It's crazy.
Come on, guy.
It's crazy to me. Eric and Raleigh, Kansas is a better fit in the Big 32, the Big 10 32. Well, but
again, it would take something like that for Kansas to move. Kansas is not just going to get on their little bus and drive to SEC country, dude. And that's what I think, the two masters of the world and all these people who just roll on conjecture want to say. I'm telling you right now, man, Kansas football is not good enough to play in the SEC. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. Put Kansas football up against 70% of the SEC. They're not even in the same league, dude. They're not. There's a reason that they weren't able to get to the Big 12 championship game. There's a reason that they were not able to handle their business last season in the Big 12. And again, I feel like a jerk ripping Kansas football because they're a solid program. They are well into the power conferences. Obviously, they're a brand that would be included in a Super League situation, 100%. But that does not mean that they're going to go and play in the SEC. And what I'd love to understand is, where does this stuff even come from? Did you just wake up last Friday and be like, yeah, well, Kansas to the SEC sounds like a real good talking point? What do you mean? There's no reason or traction for that. None. What is the why? What's the why?
I don't know, because I can't find anybody to even get near it. I cannot find one single person that we talk to. And we talk to some really highly placed sources. Again, I point you to the biggest stories over the last 18 months. We've been first on most of them and right on all of them. And I just ask you again, I can't find a single person. Oh yeah, Kansas, that's happening. Nobody. So you want to make that the same thing? That's up to you. Stepanek, the haters always are your biggest fans. They listen every day.
No doubt.
Every day. Let's see. Some guy the Bears drafted. Yeah. Jim Romadunze. Did anybody see Free Harbaugh at minicamp this weekend?
Bro,
we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. Draft experts disagree with you. Okay.
No, that was a troll. You remember that reference?
Yes, I do. Jim
Yeah.
Roma Dunze.
Yeah.
Hey, Carter Shipley, I hope you stub your toe on the door frame today. Who's Carter Shipley?
I don't know who Carter Shipley is.
I don't know. I don't know what I missed there. Sorry. If I missed that, I apologize. If the Big Ten didn't want KU, why would the SEC want KU? Completely different circumstances. I don't know that the SEC wants Kansas. I don't think it makes a lot of sense here today. And again, the ACC melts down. Okay, let's have a conversation about consolidation. Because I think if the ACC melts down, there's a real reason to believe that you would need 3 conferences, right? And then I don't necessarily know that the ACC disappears if Florida State and Clemson, and then that would be North Carolina and Duke as well, Miami probably, leaving that conference. I don't necessarily know that that means the conference is dead. I don't know how you survive at that point, but
Yeah.
stranger things have happened. I think you have to wait and see how that all plays out. Oak State James, if the Big Ten was smart, they would get Utah and KU in 2031. Gives UCLA, USC, Oregon, and Washington a shorter road trip, then do East-West divisions. So you know that that's 7 years away, right? So if they were smart, they'd wait 7 years. That it seems like a long time.
Yeah.
We're going to be living on a different planet in 7 years when it comes to college athletics.
Right.
I don't know that you can with an educated opinion speak about anything other than what's happening on paper in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And really, I think your fiscal year to fiscal year. Because again, remember that the Big 12 grant of rights hasn't even started yet. And KU's already out, supposedly, allegedly, according to Jimmy and his podcast. I don't even know who started that rumor.
That's what I'm trying to understand. Where did this even come from?
Yeah. I don't know.
Like,
we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. Two Masters says, Steve, the SEC wants UNC. Adding KU would make sense if basketball became more valuable in a few years.
Okay, so now, see, this is what I'm talking about. so let me get this right. Let's review. So first, you want to question us. You want to mock us and question us. And your take is that it might make sense for Kansas to join the SEC if the SEC were to add UNC and basketball were to become more valuable in the SEC than football, which is never on God's green earth going to happen.
But you haven't applied the Pythagorean theory yet. So settle down. What are you talking about?
Do I need to get my protractor out to do math or something? Like, what are you going on about here?
Do you know how much of a leap that is? So wait, we didn't know we're like the Big 12 and Gonzaga. So UNC is under a grant of rights, has not officially shown any willingness to try and break that grant of rights.
And why would they go to the SEC when they can go to the Big Ten and dominate?
And again, because your opinion is being stated as fact, what is the UNC? Why are they so attracted to the Big Ten? And I know everybody, please do not piss yourself or drive off the road because academics matter in North Carolina at UNC.
Whoa.
And part of the attractiveness of UNC to the Big Ten is universities like, I don't know, Northwestern. They find themselves, and this is directly from the horse's mouth, they find themselves very well aligned with the philosophy and the tactics of the Big Ten. And why UNC? There would have to be, again, a seismic shift where the Big Ten was not an option for UNC to end up in the SEC. And UNC and Duke, I do believe, are a package deal. And I still maintain, as crazy, and again, you guys told me I'm an idiot, as crazy as it can be, Duke and the Big 12 have had extensive conversations about Duke joining the Big 12. Does that mean that Duke's willing or wanting? No. But Duke and the Big 12 have talked. I can tell you flatly that Duke entertained the conversations. That's not even in question anymore.
Because again, what's and I'm just going to keep pointing this out over and over and over again. What is everyone doing? They're trying to hedge their bet. They're trying to hedge their position. They're trying to say, hey, like Duke is an example. Hey, well, if the conference does melt down, because nobody knows if it will or not, maybe it won't, who knows? But if it does, we want to know what our options are. So, hey, Brett, what would it look like in your eyes if we, were to join your conference? What would be the financials? How would that take place? What would, basically just having extensive and thorough conversations about what that would look like. And again, it's this thing where we want to take a leap from talks to their joining. And I feel like that's what's happening here is you want to come in here and call us out. And then it's like, oh, well, Kansas would only join if another school joined and basketball became more valuable than football, which is never going to happen again in the SEC specifically. And we just want to take all these leaps and stretch the truth. And the reality is that I don't know why, like, if we are still in a traditional conference setup when the ACC either ends its grant of rights, like it expires, or it melts down, whatever ends up happening. If we're still in a traditional conference setup, which I find hard to believe, UNC would not go to the SEC. They would go to the Big Ten, and Duke would go with them. And the Seminoles and Clemson and Miami would go to the SEC.
Yep. And I also think one of the more interesting parts here is that, again, everybody tends to forget that grant of rights are in place. None of this happens without ESPN.
Yeah.
None of it happens. And really, if we're talking about basketball, none of it happens without Fox, because Fox owns a big chunk of college basketball. And I just go back to what Gloria Navarez, the commissioner of the Mountain West, told us on this show. What we have reported about Brett Yormark and Greg Sankey and Tony Petitti. They all talk on a regular basis, and they all talk with their TV. I can tell you that ESPN and Fox have regular, weekly, every other week conversations on their calendars.
Yeah.
That the commissioners, Brett Yormark and Greg Sankey, actually have a good relationship. They're not adversarial. They talk. Obviously, Tony Petitti and Greg Sankey have a very good relationship. They're in business together.
Yeah.
Like all of these guys, I think people believe that this is all segmented. Nothing happens when we talk about Gonzaga to the Big 12. As we told you, Fox and ESPN are willing to pay the freight for that. When you talk about KU to the SEC, who's going to have to approve that? Well, it's going to have to be ESPN, because ESPN owns the rights to both.
And do you know how often Kansas basketball is on ESPN? Like a lot.
Like you just have to. I think there's a lot of people that don't understand what the formula is for this stuff to happen. And I wish more people did. I truly do. I wish more people had the understanding that none of this stuff happens with the chancellor or the athletic director at Kansas simply talking to Greg Sankey. All right, cool, we're coming. You understand that's not how this works. It's not Greg Sankey calls Kansas and Kansas says yes and then drops down and fillets Greg Sankey. You understand that's not what this is about. This is a conversation that involves probably half a dozen entities: the NCAA, the Big 12, the SEC, TV partners. Like, do you really think that Brett Yormark and Greg Sankey aren't? Let's pretend that Kansas is joining the SEC. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
But let's pretend they are. Do you think that Greg Sankey isn't talking to Brett Yormark about that? You think that's not happening? Do you really think that KU isn't talking to Brett Yormark about that? Do you think that KU, in this current climate, you think they're going to act the way that SC and UCLA acted in the Pac-12? That's not happening. That's not happening. I wish people had an idea of how these things work. Because when you come out there and you take your opinion and report it as fact, and clearly whoever did, and again, I'm not crushing anybody individually because I don't even know who started this BS, but you're telling us that you don't know the inner workings of college athletics.
100%.
That's what you're telling us. Because to think that Kansas and Greg Sankey are talking and that's how this deal is going to get done is completely ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're not.
See, and then this is what we do. Yeah. This is what we do right here. With two masks to being like
Kansas to the big sky, bro.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, Monty, UConn full share.
Oh, it's all good. Yeah.
Now it's all good.
Now it's all good.
Now
it's all good.
After you've questioned our sourcing and what we've said, and you got your ass called out, now it's all good.
It's all good.
Okay.
Damian Fowler, it's all about clickbait. I don't know who did, so I'm not even going there. OG Gary, hello. Well, OG, your Gonzaga Bulldogs are on the move sooner or later, and your Kansas Jayhawks are supposedly headed to the SEC.
A lot of change happening for you right now, bro. Are you okay?
It's got to be tough.
Yeah, can someone do a wellness check on Gary? I just want to make sure he's okay.
It's going to take a Super League for Kansas to be either in the Big Ten or the SEC. I think it's going to take.
But again, see, and this is kind of my point, Gary.
Man.
If a Super League happens, do we even have the Big Ten and the SEC anymore? This is my
not
point.
In football, but the conferences don't go away if a Super League happens.
But here's the thing with that though. Like that's the setup we're talking about now. But I'm telling you, everything's fluid in college athletics. So
yeah.
the setup we know now could very well be what we get. I'm not saying that that's wrong.
I think we could have an upper tier and a lower tier of college athletics. I think we have that now, but if you're in the Super League, your stick and ball sports are better off for it. Your swim team's better off for it. Your track and field team's better off for it. What's a secondary sport? Your lacrosse team is better off for it.
Look at Gonzaga and Gonzaga's commitment to not going to the Big 12 unless it's all sports.
Yeah.
How does that impact the Super League situation? If you're like, it seems pretty straightforward. And I'm not trying to cause problems with it, but I'm just telling you, when a bunch of dudes and a bunch of leadership gets in a room and starts talking about a Super League, people are going to be selfish and they're going to want to make as much money as possible.
I don't think there's any doubt, but what does Gonzaga offer to the Big 12? Well, less revenue sharing because you don't play football. You're going to take a significantly less amount of money. And I think their basketball program, obviously, you're getting tournament shares. You're getting another team ranked. And let's say there's an expanded college NCAA tournament, which I continue to tell you is happening.
Yeah.
We've heard that from everybody. They offer you more tournament shares. They offer you a deeper recruiting class in basketball. They offer you a larger national spotlight because, again, Mark Few plays on battleships, right? Like, you look at the way that Gonzaga does business. Gonzaga also cements this idea that you are going to be able to have a basketball unit separate from a football unit, that you don't have to have everybody playing football to thrive because you have a thriving basketball business.
Right.
So I think I do think that Gonzaga offers that. So we'll see. I don't necessarily believe that we know all of the variables here. I think there's a long way to go here.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Steve Stepanek, KY needs to fix the basketball program. They stepped down last year. I think, and I don't want to piss off Kansas fans who always seem to show up every time I say this about Bill Self. I think there's a lot of questions about his long-term viability as the head coach of Kansas.
We show up.
I don't think there is anybody who believes, that his health is going to hold out. He's had significant health issues.
Yeah.
And again, I think he toes that line. He's very Jim Harbaugh when it comes to rules.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you're on the right side, and he's not always been on the right side of the NCAA enforcement infractions committee.
Well, and I think when you're Kansas basketball, you're on the basketball floor. You're clearly one of those schools that has the highest of expectations. I mean, competing for national championships is the expectation at Kansas. So, if you're, again, so I said about Jim, I think it's a great comparison about you. If you're going to break the rules and you're going to do dirty things to try to get results, you damn well better get that result. And that's just what it is.
Yeah. Let's see. Peter Grathhoff at the KC Star put this story out. The Star is essentially a KU propaganda source.
Well, and we saw this again, not to go back down the Michigan rabbit hole, but we saw this a ton with Michigan, right? We saw with Ohio State too, frankly. We saw a ton of stuff out of Ohio State propaganda boards where, people were like, oh, it's being reported. And then it never happened that Ryan Day had a private investigation firm looking into Jim and you know what I mean? Like,
story.
They
hack computers,
yeah,
bro. They're not looking at Matt Weiss as the criminal. He's the victim.
Like, come on, man. And that's why I say, like, it's this whole thing where you have to be, cognizant of the time of year we're in too. And I think that I hate to say this about people, but just because we do the show, I know the struggle. Like, there's not a lot happening right now in college athletics. Like, it's the slow season. So I'm not
especially
saying,
football.
I'm not saying that a writer or a KU propaganda outlet in the middle of summer in the off season when nothing's happening would make something up. But hey, maybe it's an opinion piece and I'm fine. And by the way, and I haven't seen the piece, so I can't really speculate on it. But if the piece says this is an opinion piece and people are still taking it as fact, that's on you guys. But if it is truly being reported, then I have a problem with that.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Let's see. James. Okay, take my theory and mash it with two masters. Oh, boy. Big Ten adds KU in North Carolina. Why? Why? What? Okay. To boost their basketball presence, that would be a good move. Yeah, and marrying a 6-foot blonde with huge tits would be a great move too. But what are you talking about? Stick to Buc-ee's and truck stops. KU and North.
What did you say to me over the weekend? I think while we were golfing, didn't you?
That was a terrible putt.
Okay, you did say that, but that's not what I was referencing. That's different. That's a different conversation. Anyway, so didn't you made a Buc-ee's reference over the weekend that
I did make a Buc-ee's reference.
I can't remember what you said,
what I said.
But my guy over here, James, you've been talking so much about Buc-ee's on the show that my guy over here is talking about it on the weekends.
True. Ryan Smith's receding hairline. Duke is Duke.
Duke is Duke, baby.
Duke is Duke.
Yeah.
Replica. The KU SEC story came from Greg Fluguar from College Football. He didn't say KU SEC is imminent. He said KU is a possibility if they. My mom's a possibility if the SEC goes to 20. That's what I'm talking about. What the fuck? Well, listen. Let me just throw this out here, okay? Listen.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
If the Big Ten goes to 741 universities, there's a chance that Jimmy's Diesel Mechanic Institution gets in, but only as a women's field hockey participant. Okay. Now, if they go to 814 universities, there's a chance that OVO University
is Division I football.
So wait, let me get this right.
Exactly my point.
Let me get this right. So the first outlet was the KU Star. That's a propaganda piece.
And now Greg, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, but who I'm assuming has a
channel,
a peek around the corner. Okay.
Cool.
I don't neat. If the SEC goes to 20, bro.
No, okay. I just want to point this out. And it's no shade to this buddy or the KU Star, whatever. People, okay, it's like
people will die.
Yeah, people will look like jackasses. Okay. Listen, anytime someone says two things, it's a done deal, never a done deal. Okay. Anytime you hear it's a done deal, it's never a done deal. Okay. That's number one. Number two, anytime a conversation is prefaced with, if this happens, then it's not facts. It's just an opinion. It's speculation. Again, and this to me, if Buddy's a YouTuber or whatever, I don't know, honestly, but it's the slow season. People are going to say things. So when I'm getting publicly tagged on Twitter or added at Twitter, when people are like, hey, well, is there any truth to Kansas and the SEC? I'm like, guy, what the hell does this have to do with anything, bro? Yeah. Thank you.
It's all speculation.
Thank you, Mike Spear. Thank you.
It's all speculation. Clickbait is used by most of the shows. It's not clickbait. Stop saying, I love the fake news. It's not clickbait.
Look at the second part of his comment, though. That's funny, though.
Hell, this show probably admits to clickbaiting titles, bro. And again, and I never flex on people. I don't. I would never flex on anybody. I would never flex on anybody ever. Like never would I ever.
Even if there was a fire.
Even if there was a fire, I would never flex on a motherfucker, right? But if you look at and I don't know Mr. the Flagwar or whatever, Frogwa, whatever his name is. I don't know how many subscribers he's got. Yeah. We didn't get to 100,000 subscribers. Well, they're all clickbait. The goal on YouTube is, hey, look at that thumbnail, look at that title, let me go watch that show. You want to call that clickbait? Great. The difference is, if you're all clickbait, I would tell you the title and the thumbnail don't match your content.
Yeah.
Go watch our shows over the history of man. The title and the thumbnail match exactly what we're talking about.
Yep.
So if you want to call that clickbait, great.
I call it doing business on YouTube.
That's called the process of YouTube.
Yeah.
As long as your content is on with what your title and your thumbnail are. But whatever.
So wait, did we clickbait today? Because I'm just trying to understand, like, we
baited something?
Yeah, are we baiting today, or what's the situation?
We baited something. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, playa, Jason Tatum went to Duke. Are you sure?
Dude, what an inventive take right there, dude. I mean, absolutely incredible. Dude.
I can't with all veracity back that up. Steve Stepanek. KU is a powerhouse in basketball now with the new teams that are added to the Big 12, like Houston, et cetera. Best basketball conference in college. Yeah.
But I think they got to execute in the tournament, bro.
And this is the interesting part about the ACC. The ACC is the best, in my opinion, is the best feeding ground currently for other programs to join the Big 12 in quality of basketball conference. If the ACC melts down, and let's say that Duke and Carolina leave the ACC,
right?
I think they're a package deal. If they end up in the Big Ten, the Big Ten's not the best conference. If they end up in the SEC is the best basketball conference in the country.
And the best football conference in the country.
And if they end up in the Big 12, the Big 12 is now by far solidified itself as the basketball brand in this country. My guess is that Duke and North Carolina will end up in the Big Ten.
Yeah, it just makes too much sense. Why, you look at geography, I still think that matters to schools. Hey, like, what our conference affiliation should be relatively in alignment with where we are located. And I think that matters because, again, it's like the Calford conundrum, right? Like you look at the Calford situation and it's like, holy crap, like you guys are flying your ass off all year long. Like you're going to pay more costs. Like, and we can roll out this hub city garbage and like, oh, we're all going to meet in the middle. They're not going to meet in the middle, dude. The ACC schools are not meeting Calford in the middle on anything. And I look at Duke and UNC, and everyone, again, to what you said earlier, everyone wants to be like, oh, well, Duke and UNC are rivals and they compete. And it's like, dude, they may compete on the basketball floor, but when you're talking about business, everybody wants to win. Yeah. So if everybody wants to win,
I agree.
They'll put themselves as a package deal and they'll go to the Big Ten. Because again, I'm not saying that the Big Ten's a better conference than the SEC in basketball or football at this point. But what I am saying is for brands like Duke and UNC, the Big Ten's a better fit. It's more money. It's more opportunity. You're much more likely to get in the tournament every single year. Not that you aren't now, but I just think you want to continue to ensure that success. Like, it makes more sense. But again, stepping back, we're probably 5 to 7 years from that even happening or being a possibility, unless something earth-shattering happens in the ACC. We're a while from that happening.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think there's so much unknown that you can't. I don't know what's the right way to, and I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. There's just no basis to say that the SEC in Kansas is. I don't know. I doubt anybody said done deal, but I just can't be in a position where I take you seriously if you're like, okay, here's the roadmap. Like, there's no roadmap. There would have to be significant change. And that's where I'll leave it. Yeah. Mike Smith, J2H is still pissed he had to work last Friday.
Yeah, dude, I'm still tired, bro. Like, I had to work last Friday. Then we had to do a garage
We got
sale.
almost no sleep
then
this
we had
weekend.
to get an early tea time. It's like, damn, dude, I'm getting old over here, all right? Like, Jesus.
Well, I went to bed too late we golfed on Friday night.
Yeah.
Then we were watching a certain athletic endeavor competition and such as and like.
Right.
So we were up later.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday morning, I had to get up. I got up, I think, at 5:30. Because we had this community yard sale thing. Was worth it. I made a G selling a pile of crap. So let's go. Right? Worth it. Then Saturday afternoon, we went and played golf. And then Sunday, again, I got up later, though. We left here at 7 yesterday. Yeah. Wasatch Golf up in Midway, worth the price of admission. Really good. Really, really good.
Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah. Canyons Golf, Darren Ingram, you need to open. Just forget it.
Are we open yet, bro? Like, come on, bro.
I'll come up and shovel snow off the greens.
Yeah, man.
I'm ready for Canyons to open. The driver is working. I here's what I'm going to say. I'm never changing my iron swing again, ever. I am
not even if Kansas goes to the SEC.
Even if there's a fire in Lawrence.
You fucking donkey.
I am not changing my iron swing ever again. And right now, I got to be honest with you, man. I'm hitting driver really well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 7 out of 10 swings of the driver. There was one hole yesterday where the driver may have betrayed me, and it was rectal.
2 holes.
But you're exactly right. But I think on 18 holes, and I think there are 15 driver swings, I would bet you 12 of those driver swings were pretty good. I hit my 5 or my 4-wood really well. Hit a really good 3-wood. Maybe hit 2 good iron shots all day. Like my iron sucks right now.
And it sucks.
Putting really well. But my iron game,
I just try to stand strong.
Stick your shaft back in the bag because it just ain't nothing. Man, it is so frustrating. Hour number 2 of the Monty Show, presented by our friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business. You guys, this Friday at their office in Murray, right here in Murray, Utah. Murray, Utah, you can drop off your broken down bikes, your scooters, bicycles, working or not. That bicycle has a bent front wheel. Who cares? Drop it off. You just want to get rid of that wheel? Drop it off. Like we absolutely, positively sold a bike this weekend at the yard sale. People need bikes. People want bikes. Talking to one of these guys that was thinking about buying an electric bike. And he was saying, I'm thinking about using it to commute to work because he lives close to where he works. Like, bicycles are a huge part of the community for kids over the summer. Like, the Advocates are collecting bikes and bike parts. No questions asked, no matter what shape they're in. Drop them off at the Advocates in Murray, Utah this weekend. Tell them you heard about it on the Monty Show. A couple more comments because we have over 1,000 comments already today. You guys are amazing. Thank you. Mike Smith, Greg is a smaller channel. He has his sources. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
sure I don't know Greg. I don't know his
It's
channel.
not
I've
even
never
really
seen it.
about
It's not
Greg,
a personal
dude.
thing.
It ain't about him, bro.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
not,
Not that you're making it about him, Mike. I'm just saying, generally speaking, it ain't about him.
Mapes, hello. Good to see you. Mike Smith also says, I know my ass is tired today. Just feel wrecked, right?
Yeah, dude. You know what? You know what's tough, and again, this is first world problems. Totally get it. Don't hate. What's difficult is getting up obviously at 4:15 all week. And while you're used to it, it never seems to get easier. So
It
getting up
doesn't.
that early during the week, and then when you have things you need to do in addition to golf, that's when things get difficult. If you're just golfing, like you can find like a 10 a.m. tee time, great. I'm gonna sleep for 10 hours, get to the course at like 9, and we're cooking.
I wake up at some of the most oddest times. I woke up at 3:30 today to visit nighttime pee guy.
God, that's the worst.
And then I was my alarm goes off at 4:20 every day. I'm up at 4:02 every morning. I am awake at 4:02
Right.
Monday through Friday. So usually Friday night into Saturday morning is my time to sleep until 6. And the difference between 4 and 6 is
It's a big deal.
Enormous. I woke up at 4:02 today and was just like, damn, dude. And
That's right.
usually what I do is I will get out of bed at 4:15. I'll read some stories, get out of bed at 4:15. Dude, I put my face in that shower today and I did something I haven't done in a couple of weeks. I ended my shower with like a freezing cold shower today.
Mhm.
That's why I have so much energy, because I was dragging ass. And
Yeah.
usually when you get up early and you get in the shower, like
Yeah.
you get in that hot shower and it like revs you up. Not today, man. Like I was standing there with my, you put your hands against the wall and the water is just on your face. Not today, man. So at the end of my shower, I was like, dude, I'm just not feeling it. You turn that water down to as cold as you can. And I counted to 20 in my head. And I was wide awake, man. It makes it, I'm telling you, cold plunging. I know we've talked about it a lot on this show. Cold plunging's amazing. I'm telling you. Stepanik says the Monty Show needs to have their own golf tournament.
I'm down.
I love it.
Anybody,
I love it.
You want to pay to have someone host that tournament though, or
Well, we our home course is Canyons up in Park City, and I don't think it's even close that in Park City it's the best course.
100%.
I don't even think it's a conversation.
Yeah.
I would love to do a tournament. You can like more than one channel without trying to tear others down. That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm saying, dude. It ain't even about Greg. It ain't even about like any of these other channels. I'm just simply saying that I'm not here for, oh, hey, you guys are jackasses, or hey, asshole. I'm not here for that sentiment when we're not the ones making up stories about Kansas going to the SEC. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand why it's like that. Because we're not even the ones that started this whole thing.
A homie sent me another DM, by the way.
Okay, now does he start the second DM with like, "Hey, Jagoff"?
No, but he says, "Oh, and what? Oh, it got filtered."
Of course, it got.
He
filtered.
Essentially said something to the effect of, "You guys bought subscribers."
Oh, now
I
we
love
bought
this comment.
Subscribers. Let's talk about it.
I don't think it's physically possible to buy subscribers.
Yeah,
but B, do you understand if you buy subscribers that that's hurting your channel, not helping your channel?
Yeah.
This is a great argument about this. People are like, oh, you bought subscribers. That hurts your channel. It doesn't help your channel, because those people don't watch. Those people our watch time is 26 minutes.
Yeah.
On average, each person who watches our live show watches for 26 minutes. When you buy subscribers, that doesn't happen. And when you buy subscribers, like the rage used to be, I want to say it was either Twitter or Snapchat.
It happened. It was a huge thing on Twitter, though.
Was it?
Yeah. Well, when
Maybe
people would buy, you could buy bot followers on Twitter.
And the problem with that is that you'll like see this huge spike, and then you'll see this huge fall.
Yeah, you'll remember like it literally used to be like somebody would be at like 20,000 followers or whatever, like good following. And then you would just wake up one day and they'd be at like 150,000. Like, Not like a ramp up period, not
Yes.
like a slow trek. Like that's what I always tell people. Like if we bought followers, why did it take us 2 years to get to 100,000 subs? Like if
Yeah,
if we're like buying and cheating and
aren't we like you're paying for and it was almost 3 years, I guess. You're paying for almost 2.5 years to wait to get to 100. Like
it doesn't add up.
I
dude.
always love that. And I agree 100%. You don't have to hate channels because you like other channels.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be that way.
Yeah, to me anyway. Dude that abides says, wait, we got bought. Where the hell is my payment? Exactly.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Exactly. RJC loaner phone. Meanwhile, it would be nice if they mock Josh Pate for ACC pick comments. I don't know who Josh Pate is.
But we're not in the business of mocking people, bro.
And I'll be honest with you guys. We don't watch other channels.
Yeah.
It's just not. I don't think they do a bad job. But when you have the Pac-12 situation, if you didn't learn from the Pac-12 situation, I don't think you'll ever learn. There were so many people that just took their opinion and used it as fact and were completely wrong. I don't watch it. I've been bought, apparently not. See the membership link.
See what I mean? See what I mean? Right? Like, come on,
exactly.
dude.
Exactly.
See, I love this though, Brandon. This is an excellent point. Oh, well, you bought all your followers and subscribers and stuff, Monty. Yet dudes over here for 16 months, does that say, choosing to spend to be a premium member, bro? Like, come on, man.
Does YouTube let you buy subscribers? No. And in fact, they do the opposite. Like your account, we're in kind of a different tier. When you produce live streams on a daily basis, you get a lot more attention from Google.
Mm-hmm.
Google owns YouTube. You get a lot more attention from Google. They have a whole army of humans on some other continent that audit your channel on a regular basis. And they straight up tell you they're doing it. Hey, can't do this, can't do that, can't, on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And one of the things that, much to Elon's dismay, that Google's much better at is bot filtering.
Mm-hmm.
Because the only thing you're buying, if you're buying subscribers to anything or followers to anything, you're buying fake accounts.
Because think about
that's what you're doing.
And this is the point. This is the end all be all of the, hey, you bought bots or subscriber, hate. So why would YouTube or Google, through YouTube allow you to buy fake accounts when Google's main purpose for YouTube is showing the viewer ads?
Advertising.
That's how Google survives, man. Like literally. And that's why there's so many of you. And I know this has been a conversation in the past, but there's so many people in the comment section. Like, comment now. Do you have YouTube Premium? Because YouTube Premium it was rolled out specifically by Google because people were tired of seeing so many ads. So they said, hey, pay this amount. I think everyone says like $10, $12 a month or whatever it is. And you won't see ads anymore. That is specifically why Google did that. So Google is not going to allow a YouTube channel to go out and buy subscribers. And again, I just want to point this out. Do you really think that we get up at 4 a.m. every day for years now to buy subscribers? Like, I just, it doesn't add up, bro. Like, it doesn't make sense.
And when you have published as long as we have, as consistently as we have, and because you have to have a certain level of, you guys probably don't give a shit about this, but the behind the scenes thing is really all you're trying to do is get YouTube to tell people your video is good. Watch, it's called YouTube recommendations. Watch this video, it's good. Hey, you search for Big 12, or you search for Pac-12, or you search for Big 10 or SEC. Watch this video, it's good. They don't do that if you have bots, number one. Number two, we're in a tier where we get their premium ads. If you look at the ads that you see while you watch this show, look at the quality of the ad that you get.
Yeah.
You're seeing a lot more big brands on our channel. You're seeing a lot more, like, all of our ads are skippable. If you have a ton of bots, the ads that play on your channel are unskippable. because the person who bought that ad, Apple, whoever, ESPN Bet currently is apparently, you guys tell me all the time, dude, gambling ads all over. Well, why do you think there's DraftKings or ESPN Bet spots? Well, because a lot of people watch our show.
Yeah.
And so ESPN is like, well, I need people to use ESPN Bet. Let me put this into a show. Google, put this into shows that have a lot of viewership and consistency. If you have bots, you don't have viewership and you don't have consistency.
Yeah.
Tell me you don't know shit about YouTube without telling me. Here's your monthly bot membership. Bot. Boston Mapes. I didn't sell out. I bought in. Well,
yeah.
Bot.
See?
Bot.
You guys are all just bots, you know?
Pootie. Bot.
Yeah.
Right?
Where's Grocock's fake account? Come on.
Here's Jimmy Otson. I want my pro rata I deserve. Right? Big Blue Horses. I'm a bot.
There you go. See?
Dakota Tubbs. Premium is boss. Yes, it is.
Yeah, see what I mean? So, like,
Yes,
a lot
it
of people
is.
went the premium route because they didn't want to see the ads anymore.
Yep. Brandon Butler. Yep. Had to get rid of ads when I'm watching this show. Now it has been the best sub I have. There you go.
I appreciate that, bro.
Appreciate that. Even I have premium, Aaron Wilson says. My guy. It makes a huge, if you don't have YouTube premium, you guys, it's totally worth it.
Big difference, bro.
100%. Did you guys see, if you don't follow a website called Cord Cutters, you're missing out. It's great TV news. That YouTube TV now is the preeminent, dominant streaming source.
Because it's easy, bro.
They are dominating. YouTube TV is dominating.
Yeah.
And what are they using to dominate? Sports. There was a new story out from Wired, I believe, talking about how the NFL Sunday Ticket was an overwhelming revenue success.
Mm-hmm.
And that the amount of revenue that YouTube TV generated from Sunday Ticket has made it so in 2026 they will be profitable.
Well, and there was a thing, I think it was Front Office Sports had it, that to watch every single game or to have access to every game for this NFL season was like $825 total because you got to have YouTube TV, obviously. You got to have the ticket. You also have to have Amazon Prime. You have to have the cock. And so ultimately all of that adds up
Which
to
was
like
a playoff game.
Yeah. All
Peacock.
of that adds up to over $800. So when you start looking at YouTube TV, I could personally test this. I love YouTube TV because I know for a fact that no matter where I am, I can get the game. Like I could, like if we're road tripping,
But
if we're
what's the only sport that they are not competing for rights on? YouTube TV.
baseball.
Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
And why are they not even trying to get the rights? Because the viewership, the metrics on baseball are so low because that's why they're trying to shorten it.
Yeah.
At 2 hours and 45 minutes, it is low because nobody's watching for that long. The NFL and NBA have long arc viewership, which is why YouTube TV, Amazon Prime are both trying to compete for NBA content. And they have the NBA ticket on YouTube TV.
Yeah. League Pass.
Yeah, League Pass. Thank you. Mike Smith, YouTube Premium is worth it if you watch a lot of YouTube. Ad-free is so nice on YouTube. It really makes a difference. It really does. Sean McBride, Premium is money well spent. Yep, I agree. Mapes, I need to renegotiate my Monty Show grant of rights. It's rock solid.
Here's the
Mapes.
problem, Mapes. It's like 30 years of a grant of rights on the Monty program. So sorry, bud.
Sir Bob Lob says, I get 0 ads due to my browser. Nice. Eric and Raleigh, beep bop. Me. He's a bot too. Exactly. Deleric, the bot subscriber thing was a thing on YouTube 5-6 years ago when the algorithm was heavily based on subscribers. Correct. And now it's based on metrics, which I think that's when YouTube really took off.
But again, we weren't on YouTube 5-6 years ago.
No.
We've only been on YouTube 3 years.
No.
So like, again, like,
do you remember when we would have like 8 people watch an entire show?
Yeah.
The entire viewership was 8 people.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when the haters in Salt Lake were saying that, oh, well, they can't have more views than us. They've only got 9,000 subs. I remember that argument.
Yeah. Make sure you guys hit the like button right here on the Monty Show, presented by our good friends at the Advocates. I love seeing Ryan Reynolds every 5 minutes. Mint Mobile.
Mint.
Right? No YouTube TV, just YouTube Premium for me. YouTube TV is great, you guys. Sir Bob Lob, adopt the metric system. Exactly. You sold me on going premium, Loner Phone says. Okay. My grant of rights in the Monty Show members group is SMU level. Well played. I haven't seen any revenue distribution in 9 months and never will.
That's okay. That's some of your best work, dude.
Exactly.
Well
right.
done.